What's going on? So you want to pass evals, everyone wants to pass evals. Going fast, generally when you're new, doesn't seem like the best way. I wish in the beginning I went way slower. However, today I went ahead and passed 2 evals, pretty much going for a full risk for the pass. So I'll share with you guys today how you can pass an eval in one day, what the Apex rules are, and I'll go over my trades today. I passed 2 evals today. I blew 1 though. So when you're going to pass them quick, you also blow them quick, and you need to let your statistics play out in your favor, right? So right away, guys, let's jump right into it. So for the Apex rules, let me pull up my screenshot here. Here we go. So here we have the Apex 50K rules. You need a profit target of $3,000. Trailing drawdown is $2,500. So if you're risking $2,500, that means your invalidation of your trade idea is stopping out at that $2,500 max loss. Then you're going to need more than a 1R trade to hit that 3,000. And we have the trailing drawdown. So with the trailing drawdown, that means that it could go close to our target and then reverse on us and still stop us out before hitting that initial risk that we had put on. So my strategy for passing in 1 trade, and to be honest, it could be 2 trades. So sometimes I get stopped out in profit and would have to take a second trade when I'm trying to pass them like this, because I trail my stop while price is going in my direction to try to make sure that I'm not going to blow the account because of the trailing drawdown. Let's get right into it. So here are the rules, guys. To pass an Apex eval, you can do it in 1 day. You can do it in 1 trade. They allow you to full port it and whatever. The thing is, with the trailing drawdown, it's really easy to have it go part way to your target and then go back without invalidating your trade before going to the max win. So a lot of times it's not smart to do it in 1 trade, in my opinion. However, today I chose to try to pass them quick. So with Apex, they make it really simple. You can trade the news, no consistency rule for passing the evaluation. However, once you're in the PA, you need to have a plan. You know, if you're going to just pass this in 1 shot and not have a plan going in the PA, my experience is I blow it that way. And it only took me a few my first few funded accounts. When I blew them, I realized I needed to earn trading my next one and I needed to pass them correctly. So overall, for me, I like to pass the evals the way that I'm going to trade in the funded account. After feeling very confident about my strategy and knowing how to execute it well, I feel okay just taking one of my trades, all my rules. I want a good trade, but then full porting it in the Apex account. So pretty much that's how I'm trading to pass in 1 day, and not necessarily full porting, but full porting my risk, you know, trying to risk what I think. So for me, I can go for 2R trades a lot of times. So I could risk $1,500 to make the $3,000 target, trail my stop with it. Maybe I get stopped out in profit, hopefully, and then maybe I have to take another trade or 2, but in general, it is how I can pass it in 1 trade. The only problem is that trailing drawdown. So when I normally could go for 2R, one of my trades, right now I just have a 50% win rate. That means, you know, it's a coin flip each time. But if I'm risking 1,500, generally I can target the 2R with my setup. So that's kind of how I look at these Apex trades. So looking at my trade from today, you can see one of them right here is on the chart. I took some off early, held some all the way up until I passed it. We can see that trade right here. It was right here. So I got my setup and I was already long in a couple funded accounts for the initial balance breakout, which was right here. And then I got my RSI divergence. This is my bread and butter entry setup. Normally I want it with confluence, but I didn't take it. I guess because I was already long, whatever reason it was. I think partly because of the time also. It could have been a reason why I didn't take it, but either way, I chose to not take it in a funded account, and instead I just said I'll full port one of my evals, which by full port, what I really meant is risk enough to try to make it in 1 trade. So you can see right here, instead of using where I drew my trade idea from, where I normally would put my stop loss, I use these wicks as my stop loss, and then I target it 2R up here. So I know it's a little bit small, but I think you can see it. So, and look, it went perfectly to that 2R. So I risked in a way that I knew I'd pass it. And some of these accounts I might have had a little bit of a balance on them already, so maybe it wasn't truly in 1 trade, but that's my mentality when I take it, and then I trail my stop up, or I shed off some of the lots on the way up. I peel them off. So that's how I pass in 1 day, or try to at least pass it quick. Wow, okay, NQ is pumping right now. Look at this. Holy moly, guys. That's crazy. Right now, this is live market. NQ just pumped. So that's how I passed it. That was one of my trades today. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so here's where I'm looking for a short, and I ended up not getting my entry, my favorite bread and butter entry. Instead though, I started filling on an inside bar breakout, which is like one of my like C setups. I sometimes overfind them and will overtrade them, so I'm careful with them. So in this situation, I took it in the Eval instead. So you can see I'm only short 3 right now. Oh, but this is NQ. This is NQ, and I was short actually more NQ, and I covered some because I thought it was MNQ. So I think I filled 7. I ended up adding one more on this one. Let's skip ahead. So I had already locked in 400 bucks. And you can see here, I only need another 600 bucks, it looks like. So going forward, I could have gotten covered for one of these lots and recycled them on and off a few times. So this time I added a lot up here. I'm just gonna keep skipping, but it didn't get filled yet. Eventually, I think it did come up and we filled a 4th, okay. And then I set that 4th to cover for like 5 points or so, and we got the cover. I actually took an extra one off because I wanted to start to lock in the win. So I can see here actually, okay, so I want to go back. Okay, so here I'm short 4, and I'm really close to getting the max win. I'm like $400 away, $200 away. So I start to lock it in, drag one in. I just want to make sure I close above the 53. I could have just hit close because it was well above it. So right there I'm above it, and I'm trying to cover it all and make sure I lock it in, and there we go. I locked in above 53,000. So that's almost not technically a full port because I could have still added to the position, but full port when it came to risk to reward of what I need to pass the account. So that's what I think about. Think about how much do I need to pass it? What should I be risking to get that? I personally like to average around 2R on my trades, 1 to 2R. So depending where my key levels are, I'll target, if I have a key level past 2R, which in this situation you can see on the smaller chart here on the trading view chart, my actual target for that trade would have been lower, but I didn't need it. So what I needed was right around 1R. So I felt pretty good about that. I didn't need to go full port because really I could have actually sized down and gone for the full 2R instead of risking it. But instead I wanted to size up. I was saying I was going to full port it. So I still sized up quite a bit to push it to build the cover at that 1R, around 1R. So those were 2 different accounts here. You can see that I passed. One of them was $2,000 away from passing, and the other one was only $1,000 away from passing. So these ones weren't in one day, but it's the same concept I used to pass them in one day. Those, I had 3 to trade today. 1 of them I blew, and 2 of them I passed. So 2 out of 3 is really good for me. And again, guys, this is super risky. Like, this is not what I'd be doing in the PA account, because in the PA account, number 1, there's a consistency rule, an amount of days you need to trade, and all these things. So I would really only be going for 800 bucks in these 50K for the PA for the max win for the day, and that way I can kind of fall in the consistency rule, and knowing my win rate, I'll take some L's. So I'll risk around 400 to make 800 generally for my Apex accounts, which are like my higher risk accounts because they're cheaper and they have more rules and stuff with them, and they're trailing drawdown. That's how I pass an account in one day, guys. And I had good trades today, so I thought it was a good time to document it. I know it wasn't technically one day on these accounts, but that's the method I use. And what's important to me is that I actually have the right stop loss for my trade. I'm not just full porting it just to full port it. I want to make sure I'm filling where my stop loss is good, and then I trail the stop down. So maybe on that first one we could see me trailing the stop up. Let's see if I did it. Yeah, I did. Okay, so right here you can see I'm in that trade. It's hard to see it because I decided to use Tradovate, but right here's where my stop loss is. This blue line is my entry, and my stop loss is right below it. So I trailed my stop up with these candles as I got closer, because seeing my open P&L at 1,000, if I went down to my original stop loss, it would have blown the account. So that's really important right there. Trailing my stop up to know that I'm not going to blow the account in the same trade that I'm about to pass it in, because that is very tilting and just a waste of money, really. So it's important to still be able to just to take the win, or to be able to cut the loss. You can see here I trailed my stop up right above entry. Let's go back to that. Oh, I missed it. Trying to find the NinjaTrader screen. Well, you can see on NinjaTrader that I had trailed the stop up to right around entry, right there. So now my stop is trailed above that entry because I want to lock in. I also covered some of the lots. You can see I'm down to 12 lots now. So I'm covering some of it and locking my win, even though I only need $300 more. If I hadn't covered any of the positions, I probably would have already passed it. But I chose to just do that in order to lock in some of my gains and not risk the trailing drawdown taking me out. So in these situations, it worked out. I still was able to pass both these accounts on their one and done trades. And what's important too is to wait for my setup. You know, I'm not just YOLOing it. I'm waiting for my setup. I'm taking a normal good setup and then pushing it to try to pass these accounts quicker. So that's how I pass an account in one day, or as close to it as I can. I hope this makes sense. And again, guys, this is not financial advice. I'm just documenting my own trading journey, and I'm working towards profitability as a futures trader. I've been trading for a while now, but futures trading is a new challenge to me and something that's been very difficult, day trading futures and prop firms in particular. So follow along for my journey, guys. Like and subscribe. If you want the best deal on Apex, use code Luna to get the best deal at checkout. Code Luna. Nice and simple to remember, guys, and it really supports the channel. And comment below if you'd like to see more content like this, and join me live, guys, Monday through Friday. Currently trading multiple sessions, but I generally start at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I'm also trading Power Hour and Globex lately. So keep an eye out, like and subscribe, and turn on the alert to see when I go live. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.